Hello, this is Mark Farrar. My phone number is 940-654-0617 if you wish to call. But this roof, there's images and stuff that I can go through. And so that same roof is this guy here. I'm trying to make it hit in the right spot. I've been doing block count to get heights. I do have lots of measurements. That stuff is also been placed in AutoCAD to verify. So I've got 14 courses. One course is rested here. From up top, there's on each of these blocks there's a 2x4 plate, like separated, like one's at one edge and the other's at the other edge, and they run full length. And then the rafter system sits on top of that. And so what you're seeing right here is kind of what it should look like. And this is overlaid. So this blue one is manually created. Those are the two blocks that I wish everything to sit on top of. This is automatically generated roof. And I fiddled with the height. It needs to be right on that yellow line. I've got it pretty darn close. And for an old as-built house, that's quite close enough. You'll see there's kind of overlays here of two different things because a story pole frame. This is a block, and so I can move it over, and it's actually an AutoCAD image. And so I'll just put it back where it belongs. And so at any point, I can always go here, and like tomorrow, I'm going out to do a couple verification measurements now that I've got this thing in CAD and set up exact. So now I've got true heights that I've got to hit to make this thing build right. And up in the attic, there is like a 1x5 or 1x7, and that's one of those things, or 1x8, I'm sorry. So I'm showing it as a 1x6 right now. And then these are just 2x4 rafters, believe it or not, and 2x6 floor joist. And then down here, what I'm looking at, this is incorrect because the floor system hangs inside. And so I've got to correct this now that I've got that understanding of how this thing works. But this part's correct, which is 14 courses. And then that one is partially visible. And what you're seeing here are the little outriggers. So this is the bay window. This is the wall beyond where I cut the section. So on the other side, you can see the true depth. And what I'm having trouble with is getting this stuff to build right, and especially at that back porch. So those are the 14 courses. This concrete is just sort of a form. That's 1.5 inches tall. So if I can get it to be a plate, it'd be nice if it was chamfered. If it's not, it's not. But I'd like it to be full width and stick out a little bit. And or I can just put a molded polyline around it, but I still need the plate underneath here to show up. And I'm having trouble with that. And I'm having trouble getting this to sit correctly. Those are those outriggers. Here's the molding fascia, I guess, and subfascia behind that is a 2x4. So the fire really destroyed this, but it actually gives us a decent view of what's going on. So there is a 2x4 out at the very edge of the wall. Then these run across the 2x6 outlookers, and the roof sits on it. And it's kind of hard to see unless I show you. Let's see if I can hit the right spot. So this is cut out 1.5 inches deep, but it's only a 1x6 that's put down in that slot, although it was cut out for a 2x6. And then the rafters just rest on that 1x material that is obviously supported somewhat by that vertical piece out at the edge, which is end nailed on to here. So when I look at that, it's the rafter, the 1.5 notch, the 3/4 inch, 1x6. Then that's that piece underneath to help stabilize where this comes down. And they do come down and hit right to there. If they hit one of these rafters, then it is notched. But most of them don't. They actually come down and rest on this plate. Then I just got sheathing, and I show the roofing in AutoCAD pretty thick because it just helps with the way it prints. That has nothing to do with what's going on. So when I come into my working plan, there's something going on through here, and that can be seen because that's this intersection here, and you can see it's really just not wanting to build right. I don't know why I've got even 2 layers of roof, although this one's this one's coming down from above. I don't know why it's making 2 hips, except that this wall seems to be separated, and I can't, for the life of me, get it to join. I've pulled it back, I've rebuilt it. I've had the wall cut by the roof, and it's pretty close. There shouldn't be a freeze here, but that's no big deal. Also, if you look at the pictures, you'll notice that this is not anything built like that. Got rafter ends coming through. Now my fascia and all this turned out pretty good, but here, this piece through here is sticking out. And in the pictures, you'll notice that this fascia is continuous all the way through. And so this is a very shallow overhang at this location, and I shouldn't see my interior plaster on the outside. And I've got things to deal with on the front, but we won't tackle that at this point. I'm mainly just wanting to get the main roof to build correctly, and in my framing, there's some quirks going on here too. I don't know why. There's a most of the house is furred in, and so then there's lath and plaster, and so that lath, of course, doesn't look like this, but it helps me just to visualize it. So it's old 1950s or 1900 lath and plaster. So it's a 3/8 lath and a 1/2 inch of plaster. And then it's this furring that's behind it is building up and then becoming like the top plate for my rafter. And I don't understand why that is. It truly is wide open like this. Of course, this is wrong down here. And it doesn't seem to have anything to do with the stair, but I'm not entirely sure. In some versions where you see this little drop down of masonry and back up on the other side, that was actually physically in my plan at this level. It would show a hole and separate my wall. This is in the way. Where are you? There it is. So, at any rate, whatever's going on with the roof here, I can't quite figure out. This gray layer is just an exterior layer on my wall that's to give me the split face block look. And you'll notice the blocks are kind of wacky, but this is a kit home from Sears Roebuck. And so some of these blocks are 24 inches long, even though they're standard height. There's some 16s, there's some 20s. It's really bizarre. I have never come across blocks like this before. But yeah, what's going on here is my biggest issue to conquer, and then trying to get this roof to tie in correctly. And so in AA, just so that you understand how you can deal with this if you wish to, on my layer display, you'll notice that there's AutoCAD blocks and stuff. And so this here is checked. So I'm going to go back to the other screen and uncheck that, and you'll see the result as the AutoCAD block turns on and off. So if I don't want to see it, I can turn it off and just look at the AutoCAD. Turn it on, and you can see it. Now all the stuff that I have drawn in here manually, because I had to get, the roof is, if we get snow, it's going to fall in. So I did a bunch of framing for them real quickly. So if you look at, let's say the house framing ceiling joist, that's this blue joist right here. And so in my layer display, all these ones that say man stand for manual. So this is manual stuff that I built. And just to help with getting them shored up. Did it all in a whole bunch of different colors so they could tell one thing from another. And so like you can watch, I'm going to turn off this ceiling joist, and it should turn off that blue hidden one that's manually drawn that's in here. So I'm going to click on it now, the manual framing ceiling joist, and boom, it's gone. So that disappeared right there. And you turn it back on, turn it off. So you can kind of see how I put things together manually. If you want to turn on all kinds of things in those manual layers, those were a lot of true measuring to get that to manually work. Now, as far as the foundation goes for this laundry, I don't really know its depth. I can't see it from anywhere. There's no reason to tear it apart. But we're going to be building a second story over this whole thing. So getting the roof correct is a desire to understand it more than a need, because we're going to take it off next summer. But I want to understand how this works and why I'm having such a problem, and why I can get my shed roof to work right, and why, I mean, I can grab this roof edge and drag it in and click it, and it says modifies roof plane, auto rebuilds will be turned off. So I turn that off, and then if I go back to that other screen, there we go. You'll see that I'm on the wrong side of the house. So here it is now, and it's at the right height. And so here at this, it's almost framing it pretty darn close to what would be correct compared to what's happening out here. And maybe these just need to, I need to understand how to automatically have them out here. You know, well, obviously not that far, but just understanding what I'm going for. And then have that notch in there. I understand the notch and all that, I might have to do manually. But I want to understand, can I, if it didn't have a notch, can I actually pull this out or have it extend out on its own? And then certainly I should not have this going on in here. How do I fix that? What's going on that keeps causing that? I've tried everything. And the biggest one is understanding how to get this hip to build and what is wrong. It's probably something to do with my wall, but boy, I've torn the wall out, rebuilt it several times, and I just can't not get it to work. And then the concrete shouldn't be cut off quite this low. And so all these would be just a matter of probably pushing up the rim height. So I kind of understand that. So if I were to just go in to my room heights, get the true measurement for that ceiling in there, I'm going to be going back out to the site to do some verification measurements, and this is one of the things I need because I'm missing the true ceiling height. So, you know, it's probably about an 8-foot ceiling. So if I came in here and boy, it's masonry, and it's actually a block count is how I did it. And so I just came in through here. Oops. So in here, and just from the foundation, which I don't understand why the doors, well, it's the floor level. So if the floor is down there, but the door's not, how do I move that up? The door is not cutting out my foundation. It's only a separation in the block as it is in real life. That's not clear. I've been looking at some stuff from Scott. I've got some ideas, but mainly let's deal with the roof. I know, it's kind of a one thing at a time deal, but if you can't answer some of these other questions, that would be terrific. And then